Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you are new in this place, I happen to be Dr. Gaurav Deka. I am a money and business coach for life coaches, and I run a lifetime program called ATIPS, Abundance Tapping Expansion Practice Series. And in today's video, I want to talk about a concept and its application that has been going on in my mind for quite some time. And I think the genesis of this concept happened while I was watching a YouTube podcast recently. And it was there in my mind. However, when the podcast guest pointed out something, it almost blew my mind. It made me arrest to the situation while I was watching it. So here's what the podcast guest said. It was a spiritual podcast, and she said that, you know, why Ma Kali, she's so magnetic, she's so attractive, she's so arresting, Ma Kali. Irrespective of the fact that she's so wild and raw and severe, irrespective of all of that, like the frightening element that is present with her, the reason she's so arresting, imagine Ma Kali coming in front of you, like what would happen? It's not only about the fear or the scare. It's about you would be arrested in that moment. You would feel that you can't move. Maybe you would be frozen. And that frozenness is not the frozenness of trauma. The frozenness is the frozenness of submission. You would feel submitted to the Devi. And the reason she is the way she is so magnetic. She's so attractive. She's arresting the moment you stare at her. No matter where you come from, which country, which tribe, which religion, her image, her iconography, is something that can just pull you in. And that is because of one and only one thing. Here is what the podcast guest said. That is because she is devoid of all conditionings. She's devoid of all kinds and all forms of conditionings. And when I heard that, it just made me wonder. I stopped at the edge of my own thoughts, and it made me wonder, like, oh, that is true. That is so, so true. Because the moment you let go of all your bearings, all your veil, all your abhushan, the moment you let go of everything that covers you, all the programmings and all the beliefs and all the point of views and all the thoughts and sentences, as I said, beliefs that you may have inherited as a child from your family, from your mom and dad, the moment you let go of all of those, any sentence that feels like a should or a should not, automatically what happens is you become naked. You become wild. You become someone who you always were, but this time you are that person devoid of all forms of conditioning. Any form of conditioning, be it personal, be it familial, be it societal, all of them, when they fall apart, when they go away, either if you are doing some healing work or inner work of yourself, and that is why all of these things are falling apart. Or what's happening is you're going through a lot of suffering and pain in your life. And that is like forcing you to evolve, forcing you to let go of not just toxic people, but toxic programmings, toxic ways of believing about yourself. Like, I am not good enough. People like me are not meant to make money. No one in this world likes me because I'm XYZ. People like us never climb up to the ladder of success. If I go online and if I talk about myself and I talk about what I like and dislike, maybe people will throw vitriol at me. So you have all of these beliefs about yourself. I'm unlovable. I don't deserve. I don't belong. I'm meant to be abandoned. People always do bad things to me. People always take advantage of me. So we have these thoughts about ourselves. Then we have thoughts about the world, right? And then we have thoughts about what the world would like to do to us or the world would like to think about us. These are all programmings. These are all conditionings, right? We may have inherited them from our mom and dad and grandpa and grandma and all the people who came before them. And we also have learned them in our childhood, and we have learned them in school, and we have learned them from our friends, and we have learned them from our teachers. And then we have learned them from even our coaches and mentors, right? When they say things like, oh, don't launch so and so program, it's not going to work for you because you have not reached that level. Like I was told when I was trying to charge 2,500 rupees per session many, many years back that, Gaurav, if you raise your prices so quickly, people will think that you are arrogant. And immediately I shrank and went into my shell and I thought, oh, I'm doing something really wrong. I should not be doing this. I should be accessible to each and every one. I might be depriving people of the healing and the success that they could get on their life and the dissolution of pain. So that's what I felt in that moment. I felt what I desired or what I wanted to be was in a way wrong. So in that moment of truth, when I was listening to that podcast about Ma Kali, well, the whole podcast was about the 10 Mahavidyas, but then this is one part that stayed with me. And there is another Devi with whom I have seen a very similar form of unconditioning or deconditioning. And that is the ninth Mahavidya. She is Devi Matangi, or you can call her, she's also called as Uchishta Chandalini, right? So I'm not going into the details of it, but then she's supposed to be Uchishta, and she's supposed to be inhabiting the realm of Uchishta, which is basically residues, right? Which is why she is one Devi who is offered chutan, right? Food that you have eaten or the residue of the food that you have eaten, she's offered that as prasad. Because she is one Devi who can resurrect gold and diamond, I mean, all things valuable from what is left behind, from the residue. And she inhabits the fringes of societal conditioning because she is Chandalini, which also means that she's supposed to be in the cremation ground, in the graveyard, right? Chandal and Chandalini, they are the people who prepare the cremation rites of people when they die, right? So they are in the fringes of societal programming, societal conditioning, right? And so she also, like she's associated with lot of different kinds of esoteric skill sets. But at the same point of time, she's also associated with everything that requires deconditioning. Sometimes you have to pray her in a very uchishta format, meaning you have eaten food and there is still food on your hands and there's still food in your mouth. And in that situation, you may have to worship her. Many of her prakriyas are done in that manner, which is also to show it is not just a weird ritual. It's not just a weird ritual. It's a huge metaphor for what is pure and what is impure. What should be, a good way of presenting ourselves versus a bad way of presenting ourselves. Like, what if I came into this video wearing, let's say, a vest, right? And nothing else. It's just because I just found this t-shirt in my wardrobe, I put it in and I wore and I came. But what if I did come in a vest? Or what if I didn't wear anything, right? Automatically, an impression about me would be formed in your mind, in your brain. Even though that impression may be absent in me, I may not be coming with any preconceived notions, but the moment you see me, you would have some preconceived notions about me, right? Does he don't have not have manners? He's a life coach or he's a therapist. How can he appear naked in a video? Like, how can he not wear something? Doesn't he have anything to wear? Right? Look at the quality of his video. Look at how he's speaking, right? What if I had like food in my mouth? What would you think? Oh, he didn't even wash his mouth. He's so dirty, right? And it's not anyone's fault. People who would be watching, it's not their fault. The thing is, there is conditioning that we have been through. It has been fed to us. And it's so difficult to get out of those conditioning. And if I start talking about all forms of conditioning, how we learn them in childhood or how we inherit them from our generational line, it would take me a lot. It would really take me a lot. There are all forms of conditioning around relationships, conditioning around money, conditioning around how I should live my life, how I should run my business, right? Whether I have the right to be with a man or whether I have the right to be with a woman. If I am queer, then can I be spiritual? All kinds of stuff, right? Or how should I appear in my business? What are the things that I can speak about? What are the things that I can't speak about? Right? If I am a woman struggling with my in-laws at home, do I have the right to speak about my story on social media? Or do I not have the right to speak about it? If I speak about it, then maybe other people will come at me, my in-laws will come at me and say wrong things. They might reprimand me. They might throw expletives at me. What I'm trying to say is that all of the repercussions we face are a result of all our programmings and then other people's programmings and their conditionings. And so it's very difficult also to let go of these conditionings. The more you, this is the personal truth for me, it might not be true for others. The more you move into the healing path with a lot of commitment and belief, because my healing path has taken me to deeper and deeper forms of sadhana. And the more I do sadhana, right, the more I have realized that, oh, I am actually so and so, and I'm not this person. I'm reminded of my essential nature. But then again, I am also a human being. And therefore, now and then, frequently, my essential nature is clouded and veiled by many other things that I'm exposed to on my day-to-day basis, right? Just like you. Because we live in the world of social media, we live in the world of Instagram, we live in the world of Facebook. So what happens is we see a lot of things going on. Now I'm talking specifically to people who are healers and therapists and life coaches because those are my audience, right? I know that other people could also be watching this video and benefiting. But at this moment, because I perform better when I'm able to speak to a really narrow crowd, what happens is, especially for people like us who are life coaches, when we are watching so many things on internet, on social media, our essential nature is always clouded. Because the realization of the essential nature will always make you feel that who I am is not enough. Therefore, I have to be like them. I have to perform like them. I have to speak like them. I have to do programs, the kind of programs they do. I have to run my business the way they do. So if they write 5 emails a day, maybe I will also have to write 5 emails a day. If they post on Instagram 3 times a day, maybe I will also have to post Instagram on 3 times a day. If they do webinars and bring in people through webinars into their programs, then maybe I will also have to do it. If someone says that you need to have multiple sources of revenue through multiple offers, so even if it exhausts me, I will have to do multiple offers. If someone says that you have to work like 14 hours a day in order to work with clients and make money and grow this business, then maybe I will also have to do it. So we see a lot of things on social media that automatically becomes our different forms of conditionings. right? And it happens to me as well, because at the end of the day, I am a human being and I have a human brain, right? And this is what I've seen while worshiping the Devi or the Devis, is that every time I move away from my essential nature, every time I allow all of those other things on the internet, I see influential characters, I see influential coaches or businessmen and entrepreneurs. And every time I allow them to control how I should show up in my business, how polished I should be versus unpolished, how many webinars should I do versus how many I don't want to or want to do, how should I speak, what topic should I speak about. This is another very important thing. Your antarman, your subconscious will actually give you a lot of downloads of expression, that if you take a pen and if you start writing in a copy, you will have those downloads coming to you. But then many of those downloads will feel that, oh, who would want to listen to this? Maybe no one would want to listen to this, because they're original to you, right? You haven't heard someone else speaking about it. It has just come to you. And so automatically there is a judgment that is formed because you don't have a reference point to compare, right? And then as your Antarman gives you all of this and you make a list and write down all of these different topics, you wouldn't go and talk about them. You would instead look at what are the different trends going on in social media. Who is talking about topics that are popular, right? How can I hook my audience so that I have more people following me and then eventually people will buy? And it's the same with systems. It's the same with structures also of business or the way you do business, right? So every time I've seen that when I move away from my essential nature and I unconsciously try to emulate someone else, I know that I feel a discomfort in my body. I feel this is not who I am, you know? I feel, this is causing me a lot of pain. And the pain from working hard and increasing your capacity is very different from the pain of being unauthentic, inauthentic, right? You will know the difference between the two different kinds of pain. One pain is like when you work really hard. Like if I'm in my essential nature, if I am in my flow, if I am being who I am, and I carry on working for 12 hours, 14 hours, I wouldn't feel a thing. Just like as I make this video for you guys, I don't feel a thing. I feel that I'm speaking the truth. My brain is not in a um, place of effort where I have to put up some kind of performance to do this. No, the moment I let go of this performance, the moment I let go of the conditioning that I have to impress my crowd, the moment I let go of the fact that there might be 10,000 people who might be watching this, or in the future, there might be lakhs and lakhs of people watching this. And so, what must they be thinking about me? The moment I forget all about that and focus solely on who I am in this moment and what I want to convey, what I want to express, I am in that moment true to myself. I am in my essential nature. But then, our essential nature, as I said, is always clouded by so many different forms of conditioning that we may have. And then it impacts not just our lives, it impacts our sense of purpose. We don't enjoy the work that we do. So, as I was saying, that every time I move away from my essential nature, consciously or accidentally, right, and I try to like really rush up things and do them the hard way, what happens is the Devi gives me a kick and brings me back to my central axis, which is what happened in the last 3 days. And it's no one's fault. It's just human nature. Once again, I want to clarify. So I've been reading a lot of books on business and strategies and concepts and internet marketing and digital marketing, all of those things. And they're really good books. But as I was reading them, I felt that, oh, here is where I'm lacking. You know, I am not sending these many number of emails. I am not talking about my offer enough, or I am not doing these hooky or attention grabbing titles in my reels so that I bring in more people. I'm not doing enough reels, I'm not doing enough webinars, I'm not getting enough practice. I'm not running a long funnel. I don't have a lot of offers that can go in the funnel. My landing page requires more work because it's not attractive enough or it doesn't have that many number of testimonials. My brain was going on an overdrive, and I could sense it. And my partner said that, I think, Gaurav, you should really slow down on the on the reading. And I said, no, 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 no. There's a lot of work on the floor. I must get all of that done. And then what happened is the overwhelm was so great. And I didn't even realize that I came back from the gym the other day and I fell sick. I fell ill. There was really high fever, and I took a lot of time to come out of it. Like, it was high fever, I was shivering at night, and I could sense what's going on with me. Then 2 mornings later, I realized the purpose of that illness, the purpose of that fever. And I've literally made notes in my copy, which is where I'm going to read out a few stuff from. So then what happened is 2 mornings later, I realized that every time I try to move away from something that is true to my being, true to my core, from where I'm independent and beyond should and should not, every time I move away from that space, the Devi will make sure that she will bring me to the space. Because we all have narratives around who we are and how we should be in the world. Like, I was conditioned by this narrative that there is no progress without competition, that you have to work hard, that if you want to make a mark in this world, there are a lot of people doing a lot of work. So if you don't work hard enough, maybe you will not get there, right? You have to continuously work on yourself, on your business. And even if it gets hard, even if it gets boring, you have to keep doing it exactly that way. What happens in that case is that there is a lot of things that are not true to your essential nature. And how I knew is, for my case, I was fortunate because I knew that this was not in my essential nature, essential being, is because I have a contrasting experience. So whenever I move away from who I truly am, my essential nature, my essential being, right? Whenever you move away from your inner Kali, let's put it that way. Like, we all have an inner Kali inside of us who is the raw, wild, devoid of conditioning being, right? When we move away from that inner Kali, she will bring you back, right? And I found a way to decode that, to understand that, oh, am I really moving away from my inner Kali? And how I did this is I asked myself that what is the most contrasting experience that I have? The painful experience, the most suffering experience of where I felt trapped. And it takes me back to many, many years back, you know, more than 2 decades back, when I first entered medical college to become a doctor, to study medicine. And I realized, after entering medicine, after going into medical college, I realized that that's not who I want to be. I was not enjoying it. I was not liking it. I felt trapped. I felt like a captive. I felt joyless, and I felt dead and absolutely unalive. So what I did was I went ahead. I'm just about to, you won't get it, but I'm going to show you. I actually wrote down why on the first place did I why on the first place did I hate medical college. That's what I wrote down here. And then I made my pointers. I'm going to read out the pointers. So this was my most contrasting experience. Today I am joyful, I'm happy, I have a lot of space in my life. I have everything in my life is beautiful, like by God's grace, and I'm deeply grateful for that. So I wrote down the most contrasting experience in my life, that why on the first place did I hate medical college and the whole setup and what it made me feel. And and I have very simple answers to it. I'm going to read out the answers. I wrote down, I couldn't have freedom. I couldn't have fun. It was too much of dead work. I found it dull, boring, and cramming. And I found the people around me uncompassionate, you know. Um, so all of that. So when I wrote down these contrasting experiences, what brought the contrast, I found these words: freedom, fun. It felt like too much of dead work, dull, boring, cramming, uncompassionate people around me, right? So then from there, I realized that, oh, if this is a contrasting experience, and I did not get to feel these things in that experience, which essentially made me feel dead and trapped and like a prisoner, then what is my essential nature? My essential nature is I love freedom, inner and outer both, which is why I never ever had a job. I never had a job. I always worked by myself, right? Right from the time when I was like 23, 24. So I love freedom, inner and outer both. I love this deep sense of independence, right? That I can choose to do whatever I want to do with my time, with my day. Most importantly, I love fun, right? Which is why I also make my coaching containers a lot of fun. I bring a lot of eclectic mix of things. I make it joyful. Also, because the whole money making process, I love the process to be full of fun. So when we run certain programs or challenges inside our coaching containers, I always love to keep it like highly energetic and full of fun and joy, right? Then I wrote down, oh, I like novelty and I like innovation and I like a lot of variety, right? I constantly like to create something new. I like to integrate stuff. Like I will learn one thing from regression. I will learn one thing from inner child. I will learn one thing from generational trauma. I will learn one thing from, let's say, traditional marketing, and I will combine all of those things and come up with something new. I love that, the fact that I can innovate, that is also very Matangi-like energy. So Matangi, what she does is she takes residues from everywhere and then she turns that into like gold, something very novel and beautiful and extremely creative, right? Then I wrote down, I love creation and I love lightness. So from there, I realized that, oh, these are parts of my essential nature: freedom, independence, fun, and then variety, innovation, novelty, creation, lightness. So these are some important parts of my essential nature. There are many others, maybe, on this below the surface, but these are things that I could find out from the contrasting experience. Maybe this is an exercise you can do. Find out the most contrasting experience, right? That is away from your absolute essential nature, right? And then you will find out what all elements contribute to essential nature. And then what I did was I did a tarot for myself. Like, who am I in my truest form? And I picked up 5 random cards. And people who maybe who know tarot would be able to relate to it. People who don't know tarot May not be, but I'm still going to say it out. So I got 5 cards. So the first card was the world card, you know, the world card where there is a naked woman, um, and but then she is free and complete and naked. So again, very transcendental form, very Ma Kali like form. I find the world card very Ma Kali because there is a woman and then she's fully garlanded and then there are angels around her and then she's naked, but then she's naked and complete at the same time. So very, very transcendental energy to be naked and complete, right? That's my that's my energy. That's my essential nature. Then the second card was Four of Wands. Four of Wands is a card around celebration, around joy, and around happiness, right? It's like a wedding card. So that's my essential nature. I like to be joyful. I like to be happy, right? It's like a forever lasting dopamine, a dopamine that doesn't crash. It's like a forever, forever, forever lasting dopamine, right? Then the next card that I found was Five of Swords. Now, Five of Swords is a battle that you are trying to fight, but you know that you are not going to win. And that is so true. That all my life, I have been taught to compare and compete. And I have tried my level best to let go of that. That there is no point in competing, there is no point in comparing. That like I wrote down for myself in this copy, actually, what is the point of I have a beautiful copy. It's like a Alice in Wonderland kind of copy. So I wrote down, what's the point of fighting, competing, comparing, and doing hard things that don't align to the soul? Isn't that true? That the more we compete, the more we try to become someone else, the more we move away from our essential nature, right? Then the next card that came was the Temperance card. And this is the card of that innovation, novelty, and variety that I consider myself as an alchemist. As I said, that how Matangi is the Devi who takes residues from everywhere and then she turns that residue into gold. She will take chutan and then turn it into prasad, right? And I love doing that. That's such a wonderful metaphor for um, all things that I learned, be it from regression, be it from um, generational trauma work, or be it from childhood trauma work, be it from business coaching, and I take all of that and come up with a concept. Like for example, I started this video with the unconditioning, deconditioning of Makali, and I'm talking about business, right? I love doing this. This is what I really, really love, like innovating concepts and really applying them into life and seeing how it shows up. Like, isn't that the beauty? And the last card that came up is Magician. And that is because I really, really love magic. If I wouldn't have loved magic, I wouldn't have believed so hard. I wouldn't have believed in things like self-concept. I wouldn't have believed that your energy speaks louder than your offer or your selling or your marketing, things like that, you know? Like when in my program, I say that, okay, if you are not getting clients or if clients are not buying, let's check what are the beliefs you hold about your clients or about your offer. And then the moment we work on those beliefs, or sometimes we dissolve limiting beliefs or we fix them and we come up with a new belief, which is more intentional, more deliberate, right? For example, sometimes I make people chant, say, I am in demand, like feel inside your body and say, I am in demand. I'm in demand. People want to throw money at me, right? And on the surface, it feels that, oh my God, like this is delusional, but then it works. Because when those people start saying, I'm in demand, I'm in demand, I'm in demand, automatically they get calls and they get people reaching out to them. It happens to a lot of people inside ATEP's My Money and Business Coaching program. What I'm trying to say is, if I did not believe in magic, I would not be doing these things. I probably would be doing traditional stuff. I would not have quit medicine ever, right? And I truly believe that there is always something greater designing our lives, taking us to the best moments possible, guiding us back to our essential nature so that we can be true to not only to ourselves but to others, because others also want this version of you, right? tapping into your inner Kali, isn't it? So what challenges our essential nature is, as I said, it's comparison, it's competition, it's conditioning, right? And we can find out who we are in our core, in our very being, by actually asking ourselves that in this moment, in this very moment, as I'm talking to another human being, as I'm writing an email, as I'm WhatsApping someone, maybe a client, as I am preparing to speak in a reel on Instagram, or as I am writing a proposal, or maybe making a video, or preparing for a webinar, am I in my inner Kali moment? Am I devoid of conditioning? Right? Am I being the person that I truly am in my essential nature? Right? Am I in my essential nature? So that is what is the video for today, and how it is so essential, again, to bring your essential nature into your business, because when you are that, you will never be exhausted. You will never feel that you don't have capacity to do this work. You will never be burnout. You will never feel that you will have to perform or to grab people's attention, because there are people in the world who will be definitely repelled by you, because that's not who they are. But then there are people who will be deeply attracted to you for who you are. You are in your inner Kali moment. You are in your essential nature, and you are exactly looking for those people, right? So as I make this video, I am not looking for each and everyone to comment and like this video. No, I am in my inner Kali moment, in this moment, as I do this video. And I'm probably speaking to a very small group of people who will understand what I'm trying to say here, what I'm trying to bring here. And not everyone will understand, and that is absolutely fine with me. It's absolutely fine with me. But then there are people who will understand, who will wonder, whose one day or 1 week or 1 month or 1 year will be shifted by this video. They'll start wondering and asking themselves on an everyday basis that, am I tapping into my inner Kali in this moment as I show up in my life, in my business, in my work, to my clients, to my people, right? And if you are watching this video before 22nd of July, right? Because I know that many people will watch this video in 2025, December, or maybe next year, 2026, at some point, 27, 28, 29, 30, we don't know. But if you are in 2025, and if you're watching this video before 22nd of July, then on 22nd of July, I am coming up with a masterclass. It's a free masterclass. It's called 5 Steps to Activating Your Magnetic AF Self-Concept. It's about self-concept. It's about essential nature, and how to bring that essential nature into your business, and how to be magnetic by deconditioning yourself. Right? So if you're watching this video before 22nd of July 2025, then the link to sign up in the training is below. Go ahead and sign up, and I'll see you there. Okay? You take care then. Bye bye.